May the 22nd, 2022. Guys, as we see the disaster with the WHO in Europe beginning today, won't go into details about it, many of you understand. We're looking at another storm. Now, this is not going to be a strong tropical system. According to the models, it's moving too fast. It's in very warm water. You can see it rotating here. And this is south of Mississippi and Alabama, headed up towards the Florida Panhandle. Just a 10% chance of development. But I want you to notice that there's a lot of this Saharan dust layer that's being pushed between this system and the Florida Panhandle. It's actually all through it, but some of the moisture that you're seeing here as we switch radars is you've got a battle between dry dust and moist tropical air, right? And so whichever one wins is what's going to happen. We've seen this dust cloud really put a damper on the hurricanes trying to form in the Atlantic. Now we're seeing it happen here. But again, if you want to go back and look at some of these images, tremendous amount of dust in the air. Now let me say this about where it's going to come up through. They're talking about South Alabama and Florida Panhandle. My second home is Perdido Key, Florida, which is between Pensacola and Orange Beach. That's where the Purple Parrot is. You've seen our band play there a couple times. And I've had a boat there for years. I don't now, but I did for years. And so I've got a lot of friends. A lot of them are boat captains in that area. But as you're coming in from Mississippi, you go through the Mobile Tunnel, and you're on 10, and you take a right as you're getting into Florida, or maybe before you get into Florida, on the Foley Beach Express. You turn right and head down towards the beach. You can go straight, I think, to Gulf Shores, or make that left and get on the Orange Beach section of that highway. Go over the big toll bridge there and drops you into Orange Beach. Beautiful drive. But as you leave 10 and head towards the beach or vice versa, all of that's farming country. A lot of farmers all through there and all through all the states really, but it's really heavy there. So these guys are going to get much needed rain. We need it here, but we're kind of in between two fronts. But as we look at the, we'll go back and check this out. I want to point out a couple of places on this map. This is the wide Atlantic view. And you can see as the sun moves across this area. What would be interesting for someone to do is about once a week come in here, save the video, make a video of the wide Atlantic view. This is National Hurricane Center. It's on, you can look at under hurricanes on bpearthwatch.com. And so these dots, as we come through here, notice that sun passes over Central America, both on the west, east side and west, right there. All right, that's going to change as the Earth tilts, right? And you could find any changes in the tilt, which happens naturally. But if you looked at it over a period of time, you could see, or is the Earth tilting a little more now? Is that having an effect on grand solar minimum and allowing this extra radiation in? Just, it's a point. But what we've got is a 10% chance of a cyclone formation within 48 hours. North Central Gulf, an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms, is associated with a surface trough of low pressure over the north central Gulf of Mexico. Surface pressures remain high and environmental conditions do not appear favorable for significant development before this system moves inland over the central Gulf Coast in a day or so, regardless of development. This is, I think, key for the planning. Regardless of development, it's going to bring heavy rainfall. You can pause that. I'm kind of going through this quick. I've got something I've got to take care of, but I wanted to get it up. Again, 10% chance. Welcome to 2020 hurricane season, the beginning of it. And this will be 8 years in a row, I think, that something occurred in the month of May. Again, unless they're way off or a front stalls this thing out over warmer water, it does appear to be moving too fast to get any stronger. But you guys down there, and all of those, and all the farmers there, enjoy that rain. And it's going to, all of these farms that I'm talking about, guys, are going to be key to survival in your area. Think about it. So we're hoping we get through this in Mississippi. We have the ability to put some water in our garden. A lot of folks don't have that, especially in the West, under the new water restrictions and things, and other places have them. But we're fortunate enough to have enough to where we can do that. But we sure need a good rain. It's not the same as the big tank water that comes out here. You know, they put chlorine in it, things like that. Rainwater is the best. And by the way, if you can get rain barrel collection started, to where you're coming down in some off your house, maybe through a gutter and downspouts. You can get 50-gallon rain barrels. They're a little over $100 with the screens and the faucets and all that built in. But you get with 4 of them, you can get 200 gallons. Rainwater is never chlorinated, right? But you want it screened, and then you can run it through your Alexa Pure water filter, just for any impurities. But you'll never have the chlorine in it, any other chemicals, metals. But here's one thing that's important. If you're going to do a rain barrel system, and I highly suggest it, guys, remember Hurricane Katrina. It knocked power out in our location. We didn't have electricity, and because the big water pumps that are at the water tanks are electric, we couldn't get water either. It was pretty rough. No water, no electricity. 2 weeks with 100-degree heat after Hurricane Katrina. Well, if we had known what we know now, you would have some backup water. And like I said, rain barrels, and one, if you line these things up, you can either let the just come off the roof without a gutter. If you've got an open drop there, and line the barrels up because the screen's on top, right? They also can be connected if you want to use one downspout and let the barrels feed each other. This is going to be important. In other words, for every barrel you got 50 gallons. We have 4 barrels, which is 200 gallons. But your Alexa Pure, we'll use a couple of gallons a day at the max, and that's for our drinking, ice, cooking, right? And so that would be 100 days. 100 days out of 4 barrels. It doesn't have to be those. You can make it out of plastic barrels that you get cheaper. Make sure that it's water, that it's okay for water, drinking water, right? And but I got mine at ordered them from Home Depot. I think Tractor Supply has them too. I like the ones from Home Depot just a little better because they come with the brass faucets and things like that. And you can always drain some of the excess into your garden or into your house plants. But think about those things right now. We're going to be in a lot of trouble very soon. There was a report that came out, it may have been Bloomberg, I read earlier this morning, I'm not sure, to where some of the top people in Europe are saying that around the world we'll see a great shortage in wheat. And they're saying that there's 10 weeks left in storage. So you got, that's not, I guess, in the bins or whatever. Now, you already have some that's in the process of being made into bread or whatever, and a lot of countries aren't exporting. You've got Ukraine, you've got India, you've got Russia, and those are the big boys. And they're not shipping out wheat. And we've got droughts across a lot of the land, fertilizer shortages, diesel shortages, and diesel prices that prohibit a lot of trucking. Done got so high, people have switched from corn to soybeans because they don't use as much fertilizer. But again, this storm, guys, will be a blessing, I think. But of course, you're going to have some thunderstorms and high winds, but not a hurricane or not even a tropical storm. Just a light tropical wave with a lot of good rain. Now, you're going to have some low flooding just like you normally would. But, guys, think about this. If this was coming into Arizona and Utah and Colorado, places in California that really need it into their reservoirs. Now, it may mess up a day of fishing or two for a lot of my friends down there, which are commercial captains, and just friends that just go out and fish. It may mess up a little beach day, but, guys, the blessings that it's going to bring inland to the farmers that feed you is something when it happens here, I just say, thank you, Lord. And when it's dry, I'll be saying, Lord, if you got a couple extra drops, drop them here. We could use it. And like I said, we're trying to grow a little extra for other folks and things like that. And everyone should. By the way, remember a video a couple months ago, I think it was maybe a month, where I said I had made a deal with a friend of mine that owns one of the best restaurants, Mexican restaurants, I think, in the U.S., down in McGee, Mississippi. And he was getting, it was harder to get produce. The price was doubling because of the price of diesel and things like that. And he uses a lot of peppers, zucchini, things like that, tomatoes. So me and him got together, and I planted about 400 or 500 extra plants in my garden for those specific crops: zucchini, green and red bell peppers, jalapeno peppers. That was the main three that we're going to deal with. And so I can save him shipping because we're less than 10 minutes apart, and keep him in a fresh supply. He's one of the few restaurants that is 100% fresh. No frozen vegetables go in any of the Mexican food dishes. Highly recommended if you're on 49 between Memphis, Gulfport, Mississippi, but south of Jackson. That's not a commercial, it's just a fact. But anyway, so it's a side hustle. If things go south, where our banks are collapsing, jobs are gone, food is scarce, and all those things that I've just said are coming about very quickly. Again, 10 weeks of wheat left around the world, for the world. But anyway, this will be a way that we can barter and trade, right? And if it just, there may be some use for money even after supplies get really thin, or there's a possibility, because now with the Russian ruble being in place, and 20 or so countries now have signed into, you transfer their funds into rubles, which are backed by gold. And what's that doing? It's killing the petrodollar, which is U.S., the one that we have dominated the world with forever, since there's been oil. Well, the moment that all the countries switch, and there's a lot of them that are switching now. Saudi Arabia is making a deal with China. Russia's all involved in that. But the moment that occurs, where it goes non-U.S. petrodollar, it collapses here. It could happen that day, because all the stocks, bonds, everything like that are in U.S. dollars that are traded worldwide. All of that cash will come back, but not in a good way. Hyperinflation. So any hustle that you can get on the side, if you're planting a garden, talk to a produce stand, a fruit stand, or your restaurants, or your grocery stores. Find out, because of the, we know that there's going to be there's already shortages, been going on over a year now, into the grocery stores. You make it come in there, fill a gap. It would help not only you, but your community. It'd give you enough trading and barter power. Again, you may have, the cash may have some value when you can get it, but at least you have something, right, that is worth more than that green paper that is now overprinted in the trillions and trillions of dollars. It'll never be able to be paid back. That's why the Great Reset is coming. It's just that we're not going to be part of the good end of that. But guys, again, think about all of those things. You're going to need water. You're going to need food. You're going to need a way to barter and trade. And there's so many farmers in this nation and around the world that could do what I just said, and we've already made our first delivery, making another one tomorrow. And that's just, again, early in the morning, get it done when it's cool, run 10 minutes away, and drop it off. It adds up. You know, they're getting $70 a case for zucchini. I think it's 20 pounds or so in a case, and $50-$60 now a case because of the shipping cost for peppers. When it used to be 20 just a year or two ago, $20 a case they could get it for. He was talking about his invoices. So I saw a gap immediately. And you guys need to be thinking like that. We're watching this. Welcome to hurricane season again. It's a heads up. Be safe.